My beloved soul, listen carefully. This message reached you for a divine reason. Heaven guided you here today. God wanted your spirit to hear this truth. Type, "I receive this connection," in the comments right now. Like this video in faith. Subscribe if you believe divine love still exists. The chosen ones are hearing this message today. Many people ignored the signs. You did not. My child, stop right now. Do not scroll away. This moment is sacred. What you feel inside is not random. It is a calling from heaven. Faith is more than words. Faith requires action. When you move in faith, you invite my protection over your life. You also invite my covering over your soulmate and family. What you release in faith returns as peace and protection. Do not delay this moment. Do not overthink. Sow your seed now. The QR code is on your screen. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Take your step in faith today. My beloved soul, heaven just confirmed this soulmate connection. This confirmation was not small. It was divine. God heard every silent prayer you cried during lonely nights. He saw the confusion inside your heart. He saw the tears nobody else noticed. For a long time, you questioned your feelings. You wondered if this connection was even real. You tried to move on many times. Yet their energy kept returning strongly. Songs reminded you of them. Dreams kept appearing suddenly. Your spirit still felt connected. That was not imagination. It was spiritual recognition. God is saying something powerful today. What I joined spiritually cannot be destroyed by confusion. Listen carefully now. The enemy attacked this connection because it carried divine purpose. Darkness recognized the future attached to this bond before you understood it fully. That is why delays happened. That is why separation happened. That is why misunderstandings appeared. This was spiritual warfare. Fake connections never create this level of resistance. Temporary people never shake the unseen realm. But this connection did. It carried purpose from heaven. My beloved soul, there is a reason their name appears repeatedly before you. There is a reason your intuition becomes stronger late at night. Your soul recognized something sacred before your mind could fully understand it. God never allowed this meeting accidentally. Divine timing arranged everything carefully. Even the separation had purpose. God was preparing both souls separately before alignment could happen completely. The silence was not the ending. The distance was not rejection. It was preparation. Your soulmate tried ignoring these emotions for a long time. They distracted themselves constantly. They buried their feelings deeply. Yet your energy never disappeared from their spirit. Divine connections cannot be erased. Heaven is awakening them emotionally now. Memories are returning strongly. Dreams are increasing suddenly. Your presence fills their thoughts daily. They are beginning to understand this connection differently now. God is removing the confusion from their mind. Clarity is finally arriving. Movement will follow soon. Communication is coming. Truth is coming. Answers are coming. My beloved soul, hear this deeply. This connection survived because heaven protected it. So many things tried destroying this bond. Fear interfered constantly. Pride created walls. Distance created pain. Spiritual attacks created confusion. Yet the connection still survived. God covered it spiritually. Heaven defended it quietly. There were moments you almost gave up completely. You felt emotionally exhausted. You cried silently at night. You asked God if you should walk away forever. Yet somehow you still remained connected. You still sensed them deeply. You still noticed the signs. That happened for a reason. God never released this connection from His hands. What I preserve has purpose. My beloved soul, something major is shifting now. The waiting season is ending slowly. The confusion is breaking apart. Restoration is beginning. But listen carefully. Do not allow fear to sabotage what heaven is restoring. The enemy wants you expecting disappointment before the blessing arrives. Fear creates walls around the heart. God wants your heart open again. Trust Him one more time. Everything happened for a deeper reason. Both of you needed healing first. Both of you needed spiritual growth. Heaven was preparing this union carefully behind the scenes. Situations are shifting already. Conversations are being prepared. Doors are opening quietly. Your soulmate is being guided back toward clarity. You are about to witness unexpected changes. The distant person will become emotionally vulnerable. The silent person will suddenly desire communication. The confused person will begin seeking truth. Heaven is breaking resistance around this connection. Nobody can stop what God ordains. My beloved soul, release the bitterness slowly. Yes, you were hurt deeply. Yes, disappointment affected your heart. But healing must happen before lasting union can exist. If pain controls your spirit, receiving love becomes difficult. Let God heal your heart completely. Allow peace to enter again. I see commitment surrounding this connection. I see long-term stability. I see family blessings. I see generational healing taking place through this union. This relationship was never only about romance. It carried divine purpose. That is why darkness fought it aggressively. The enemy attacks connections carrying future impact. Heaven keeps repeating this message strongly. This soulmate connection is being divinely restored. Not forced. Restored. God Himself is breathing life back into this bond. Things that felt frozen will suddenly begin moving quickly. Watch for unexpected communication soon. Watch for emotional honesty. Watch for powerful synchronicities. The shift already started spiritually. Physical changes will follow naturally. My beloved soul, your tears were never wasted. Your prayers were always heard. Your waiting season carried purpose. God saw every painful night you endured silently. He saw every moment you chose faith despite confusion. Today heaven is finally answering. This is your confirmation. This is your sign. Divine love still exists. Your story is not ending in heartbreak. It is moving toward revelation and restoration. Type "Heaven confirmed it" in the comments right now. Declare it in faith. Do not stay silent. Your words create spiritual agreement with what God is doing. If this message touched your spirit deeply, sow your faith seed today through the QR code or description link. Do not see it as loss. See it as trust. Every faithful step invites divine covering over your life and future. My beloved soul, this connection is real. The confirmation is real. The restoration is real. What heaven ordained will never be destroyed. My beloved soul, there is something even deeper God wants you to understand today. The reason this connection became so heavy emotionally was because your souls recognized each other long before your minds understood what was happening. That is why the emotions felt intense from the beginning. That is why ordinary conversations felt different. That is why small moments stayed inside your heart for so long. Heaven marked this connection early. You were never imagining it. God was revealing it slowly. Many people around you could not understand what you felt. Some people even told you to forget them completely. Others told you the connection was impossible. But nobody could silence what your spirit kept sensing deeply. God placed that feeling inside you for a reason. My beloved soul, your soulmate also fought these emotions privately. They acted normal on the outside. They hid their feelings carefully. Yet inside, they kept returning to thoughts of you repeatedly. They tried distracting themselves with other things. They tried convincing themselves this connection would disappear naturally. But divine connections do not fade easily. Especially when heaven protects them. The more they tried forgetting you, the stronger the emotional pull became. That confused them deeply. God has been allowing this pressure intentionally. He wanted them to stop running from the truth. And now the walls around their heart are slowly breaking apart. This shift is becoming impossible to stop. My beloved soul. Heaven is moving right now behind the scenes. Conversations are being aligned spiritually. Circumstances are changing quietly. Timing is shifting. The same delays that frustrated you before are losing power now. God is removing obstacles one by one. Some things had to leave first. Some people had to move away first. Some emotional wounds had to heal first. Heaven never ignored your prayers. Preparation was happening silently the entire time. Listen carefully. This next season will not feel like the last one. Something different is approaching. You will notice the energy changing suddenly. Communication will feel more honest. Emotional walls will begin falling quickly. Fear will lose control over both of you. My beloved soul, do not ignore this moment. If your heart truly believes God is restoring this connection, then take your step of faith today. The QR code is on your screen right now. The link is also waiting in the description and pinned comment. What you release in faith returns with blessing and protection. Trust God completely today. My beloved soul, I need you to hear this clearly. The enemy worked hard to keep both of you emotionally exhausted. Darkness wanted you tired enough to give up before restoration arrived. That is why your mind felt overwhelmed so often. That is why confusion kept attacking unexpectedly. But heaven protected you during every hidden battle. Even when you felt weak, God defended your spirit quietly. You survived because divine protection surrounded your life. There were nights heaven fought battles for you that you never even saw. God never abandoned this connection. And He never abandoned you. My beloved soul, your soulmate is beginning to realize your value differently now. The distance taught painful lessons. The silence created emotional awakening. Losing access to your energy affected them more than they expected. They started noticing your absence deeply. Your love carried peace they could not replace elsewhere. Your presence carried comfort they could not recreate with another person. That realization is growing stronger every single day. Heaven is forcing emotional truth to rise to the surface now. They can no longer hide from what they truly feel. God is bringing hidden emotions into the light. My beloved soul, something beautiful is approaching. I see emotional honesty entering this connection soon. I see vulnerable conversations. I see tears being released honestly. I see walls falling apart. This connection is shifting from confusion toward clarity. But God needs your heart prepared first. Do not let fear control your reactions when movement begins. Some of you prayed for restoration, but fear still whispers inside your spirit. Fear says they will disappoint you again. Fear says nothing will change. Fear says protect your heart at all costs. But heaven says healing requires trust again. Not blind trust in people. Trust in God's timing. Trust in God's guidance. Trust in heaven's protection over your future. My beloved soul, your story is changing now. The painful chapter is slowly closing. The season of emotional uncertainty is ending little by little. God is preparing a testimony through this connection. One day you will look back and understand why everything happened exactly the way it did. The waiting had purpose. The separation had purpose. Even the heartbreak carried hidden lessons. Heaven was building emotional maturity inside both souls. God was preparing both hearts for something lasting. Temporary emotions cannot sustain divine unions. That is why spiritual growth had to happen first. My beloved soul, if this message is touching your spirit deeply right now, do not ignore the opportunity God placed before you. Sow your faith seed today through the QR code on your screen or the link below. When you move in faith, you open the door for divine covering over your life and soulmate connection. God honors obedience. God honors trust. Take your step today. My beloved soul, I also see jealousy around this connection. Not everyone wanted this bond to survive. Some people secretly hoped separation would destroy it permanently. Some people spoke negatively over your relationship. Some people tried influencing your soulmate emotionally. But what God protects cannot be destroyed by outside voices. Heaven defended this connection repeatedly. Even when interference appeared, God continued preserving the bond spiritually. That is why the connection still lives today. My beloved soul, the signs will increase soon. You may suddenly hear from them unexpectedly. You may notice powerful synchronicities everywhere. Dreams may become stronger. Emotional pull may intensify quickly. Do not panic when this happens. It is confirmation that spiritual alignment is increasing. Heaven is bringing movement closer. Stay calm. Stay prayerful. Stay spiritually open. God is not finished with this story. The breakthrough is closer than you realize. My beloved soul, there were moments when you thought the silence meant rejection. You wondered if heaven had changed its mind about this connection. You questioned why everything became so complicated after such a powerful beginning. But God is saying clearly today, the silence was never proof of failure. It was proof that spiritual preparation was happening behind the scenes. Some lessons can only be learned through distance. Some hearts only awaken after separation creates emptiness inside them. Your soulmate needed to experience your absence fully. They needed to understand what life felt like without your energy, your care, and your presence surrounding them daily. That realization changed something inside them deeply. They may not show it openly yet, but emotionally they are not the same person anymore. Heaven has been working on their heart quietly every single day. My beloved soul, I see them replaying old memories repeatedly. Small moments are returning to them suddenly. Conversations they once ignored now carry deeper meaning. Certain places remind them of you unexpectedly. Songs trigger emotions they tried burying for months. They cannot escape this connection anymore. God is removing every distraction slowly. The truth is becoming louder inside their spirit now. They are beginning to realize that losing you completely would create a pain they are not prepared to carry. This awakening is becoming stronger at night. Their emotions become heavy when everything around them becomes quiet. That is when your energy reaches them most deeply. Heaven is using those moments to soften their heart completely. My beloved soul, do not underestimate the power of divine timing. What feels delayed to you is often God protecting something precious from happening too early. If this union had happened before both hearts matured spiritually, the connection could have collapsed under emotional pressure. Heaven needed growth first. God needed healing first. That is why the process felt longer than expected. But now the spiritual atmosphere around this connection is shifting rapidly. The resistance is weakening. Fear is losing control. Pride is breaking slowly. Emotional truth is rising strongly. And once God fully opens the door, movement will happen faster than you expect. My beloved soul, if your spirit truly believes this message today, then do not ignore the opportunity to move in faith. The QR code is still on your screen right now. The link is waiting in the description and first pinned comment. What you release in faith returns with protection, peace, and divine covering over your future. Take your step today with trust in God. My beloved soul, Heaven also wants you to stop blaming yourself for everything that happened. You carried too much guilt inside your heart. You replayed old conversations repeatedly, wondering what you could have done differently. But not every battle was your fault. Spiritual warfare surrounded this connection heavily. Confusion affected both of you emotionally. Fear distorted communication. Pain created walls. Yet despite all of that, the connection still survived. That alone should tell you how protected this bond truly is. Fake connections collapse permanently under pressure. But divine connections continue pulling both souls back toward each other. God never allowed the spiritual cord between you to break completely. My beloved soul, I see a reunion energy increasing strongly now. I see emotional conversations happening unexpectedly. I see truth being spoken after long silence. I see tears falling honestly during vulnerable moments. Your soulmate has emotions they can no longer suppress. They tried hiding them. They tried avoiding them. But heaven keeps bringing your presence back into their spirit repeatedly. The connection became impossible to ignore. God is making sure of that. Listen carefully. When communication begins again, guard your heart against fear and overthinking. Do not immediately assume the worst. Do not allow old pain to control your reactions. Heaven is asking you to stay emotionally grounded during this transition. Healing conversations require patience. Restoration requires wisdom. God is rebuilding this connection carefully, not recklessly. My beloved soul, your waiting season created strength inside you that you did not notice before. The pain taught you discernment. The silence taught you spiritual endurance. The heartbreak forced you closer to God. Even your tears carried purpose. Heaven wastes nothing. Every painful moment shaped your spirit for the blessing approaching now. One day you will understand why certain doors close temporarily. You will understand why delays happened exactly when they did. God was protecting the future you prayed for, even when you misunderstood the process completely. My beloved soul, some of you are feeling emotional pressure while hearing this message right now. Your spirit feels heavy because God is touching hidden wounds inside your heart. Do not ignore that feeling. Heaven is healing you while this message reaches your soul. If you truly trust what God is doing right now, sow your faith seed through the QR code on your screen or the link below. Your obedience today is not meaningless. Faith opens spiritual doors. Faith invites divine protection over your life, your family, and your soulmate connection. Trust God completely in this moment. My beloved soul. I also see a major breakthrough approaching unexpectedly. Things that felt frozen will suddenly begin moving quickly. Delayed communication may arrive without warning. Emotional honesty may appear at surprising times. You may notice your soulmate becoming softer emotionally. They are tired of fighting their feelings internally. They are tired of pretending this connection means nothing. Heaven is pulling them toward emotional surrender now. The walls around their heart cannot survive much longer under God's pressure. My beloved soul, remember this deeply. God never showed you these signs for no reason. The dreams were not random. The synchronicities were not accidents. The emotional pull was not imagination. Heaven confirmed this connection repeatedly because your story is still unfolding. This chapter is not ending yet. Restoration energy surrounds your connection strongly now. Stay prayerful. Stay patient. Stay spiritually open. God is still writing this love story. My beloved soul, there is another truth heaven wants you to understand before this season changes completely. The enemy tried very hard to convince you that the waiting meant failure. Darkness whispered that nothing would ever change. Fear kept telling you the story was already over. But if the story had truly ended, God would not still be sending confirmation after confirmation into your life. Heaven does not continue showing signs for dead connections. God does not continue stirring your spirit without purpose. The reason this connection keeps returning into your heart is because heaven never released it. God preserved it through every battle, every misunderstanding, and every painful moment of separation. My beloved soul, I know there were days when your faith became weak. You smiled around people while secretly carrying heartbreak inside your chest. You acted strong while your spirit quietly cried at night. Nobody fully understood how deeply this connection affected you emotionally. But God understood everything. He saw every silent prayer. He heard every conversation you had with Him in tears. He watched every moment you almost gave up completely. And still, He continued protecting your future quietly behind the scenes. My beloved soul, this is why you survived the emotional storm. Heaven covered you even during your weakest moments. There were spiritual attacks you never saw with your physical eyes. There were battles happening in the unseen realm over your peace, your future, and this soulmate connection. But God never allowed darkness to win permanently. Divine protection stayed over your life. That protection still surrounds you right now. Listen carefully. Your soulmate has entered a season of emotional realization. Things they ignored before now feel impossible to escape. Memories hit differently now. Your absence feels heavier now. Their heart reacts differently when your name appears suddenly. Even if they stay silent publicly, emotionally they are changing internally every single day. God is removing pride slowly. He is breaking emotional resistance carefully. He is bringing hidden feelings into the light. My beloved soul, heaven is preparing a moment that will shift everything unexpectedly. I see sudden communication appearing after silence. I see emotional honesty replacing confusion. I see vulnerability replacing avoidance. Your soulmate is becoming tired of running from emotions they cannot erase. They are beginning to understand that peace never truly followed them after separation happened. Something always felt missing inside their spirit. That missing piece was connected to you. God allowed distance to reveal value. Sometimes people only recognize what they carried after losing access to it temporarily. My beloved soul, do not become discouraged if things still appear quiet physically right now. Spiritual movement always happens before physical manifestation appears. Just because you cannot see everything yet does not mean heaven is inactive. God is moving pieces together carefully. Timing matters deeply in divine connections. One wrong moment could create more damage instead of healing. That is why heaven waited. But now the atmosphere around this connection feels different. The energy is changing. Emotional walls are weakening. Spiritual alignment is increasing rapidly. My beloved soul, if you truly believe God is restoring what was meant for you, then take your step of faith right now. The QR code is still on your screen. The link is waiting in the description and pinned comment below. What you release in faith never leaves your life empty. God multiplies obedience with blessing, protection, and favor over your future. Trust Him today without fear. My beloved soul, I also hear heaven saying something important about your heart. Do not allow old pain to harden your spirit completely. Yes, you experienced disappointment before. Yes, certain moments hurt deeply. But God does not want bitterness controlling your future season. Healing requires softness again. Restoration requires emotional openness again. You prayed for divine love, and now heaven is asking you to prepare emotionally for what you requested. Fear builds walls. Faith opens doors. Choose faith now. My beloved soul. I see many of you receiving signs very soon after hearing this message. Some of you will dream about your soulmate unexpectedly tonight. Some of you will notice strange synchronicities appearing repeatedly. Others will suddenly hear from this person after long silence. These are not coincidences. They are confirmation that spiritual alignment is increasing quickly now. Heaven wants you paying attention during this season. God is communicating through signs because breakthrough energy is already moving around your connection. The waiting season is not permanent anymore. Something is shifting strongly. My beloved soul, your soulmate also carries regret inside their heart. They regret certain choices. They regret certain words. They regret allowing fear and confusion to control them. At times they acted distant because they felt emotionally overwhelmed. They did not fully understand the intensity of this connection themselves. But heaven has been teaching them quietly through separation. Pain became their teacher. Silence became their mirror. And now they are beginning to see this connection differently than before. God is awakening emotional maturity inside them. That change matters deeply for your future together. My beloved soul, listen carefully to this next part because it is extremely important. When restoration begins, protect the connection from negativity. Not everyone around you will understand what God is doing. Some people only speak from logic. Others speak from bitterness created by their own wounds. But divine connections cannot always be explained naturally. Heaven works differently. God restores things people considered impossible. Stay prayerful during this season. Protect your peace carefully. And trust God's guidance above outside opinions. My beloved soul. Heaven keeps showing me commitment around this union. I see stability replacing uncertainty. I see emotional security replacing confusion. I see both souls finally understanding each other differently. The connection that once felt chaotic will begin feeling calmer and more grounded. That is because God is healing the foundation spiritually before rebuilding the relationship physically. Strong unions require healed hearts. God cares about longevity, not temporary emotional excitement. My beloved soul, do not forget what God already carried you through. There were moments you thought your heart would never recover. There were nights where loneliness felt overwhelming. Yet heaven kept sustaining you. God kept strengthening your spirit little by little. Even now, after everything that happened, you still carry hope deep inside your soul. That hope was planted by heaven intentionally. God never places hope inside a heart without purpose. My beloved soul, if this message is speaking directly to your spirit today, then do not ignore the opportunity heaven placed before you. Sow your faith seed now through the QR code on your screen or the link in the description and pinned comment. Every act of faith invites divine covering over your future. God sees obedience. God sees trust. And heaven responds to hearts that move with faith instead of fear. Take your step today. My beloved soul. I see the moment of breakthrough getting closer now. I see emotional distance shrinking slowly. I see unexpected honesty arriving. I see both souls finally confronting feelings they avoided for too long. The emotional tension around this connection cannot continue forever. God is pushing everything toward truth now. What was hidden emotionally will eventually become visible. What was silent will eventually speak. What felt impossible will eventually move forward through divine timing. My beloved soul, your story is not ending in heartbreak. Hear that clearly today. Your story is moving toward revelation, healing, and restoration. Heaven did not bring you this far just to abandon you now. God was shaping both souls through every painful chapter. One day the confusion will make sense. One day the delays will make sense. One day you will understand why heaven protected this connection so carefully. And when that moment arrives, you will realize God never stopped working for even 1 second. My beloved soul, before this message ends, I want you to do something powerful right now. Type "God restores divine love" in the comments as an act of faith. Declare it boldly over your life and soulmate connection. Like this video if you believe heaven is still moving behind the scenes. Subscribe and stay connected to these messages because God is speaking strongly during this season. And if your spirit feels led today, sow your faith seed through the QR code on your screen or the link in the description and pinned comment. Do not see it as loss. See it as trust in God's protection, timing, and restoration over your future. My beloved soul, the connection is real. The signs are real. The restoration is real. And what heaven has ordained for your life will arrive at the perfect divine time. Type Amen.